Hello, gang. I thought I would come at you with another video newsletter this week because this is another topic I feel like just is much easier to talk through than it is to write about and catch all of the detail. One of the things that's been coming up a lot with clients is they're going away for weekends or camping or visiting friends and family now that that is allowed. And that is wonderful and so soul filling. And it can really derail your progress as far as healthy eating, weight, energy, gut, if we don't have a strategy. And you know me, the goal is never just deprive yourself and be super perfect. We've got to find that balance. So here's some of my top ways to do that. Number one, make next week's meal plan and grocery list before you go. If you're anything like me, when you get home on Sunday night, you're tired, you need to shower, there's unpacking, you're trying to figure out work for the next week. Most of us don't feel really inspired to sit down, get that plan done, make sure our groceries are in the fridge, have all of that kind of mental effort right as soon as we get home. I know I have good intentions, sometimes do it on the way home if I'm not the one driving, and it rarely happens. So know thyself. And if you need to repeat the week before, just do that. Do the same kind of meals. Don't make a big fuss. But the more planning you have done before you get home, the more likely that you might have eaten extra on those days that you were away, but you'll start right back off on the right foot on Monday morning. And that saves us a lot of extra kind of calories and extras and treats that we might sort of waste on things we don't love just because we're not prepared and organized. The second one is to decide what treats you really love and focus on those. I know this is a theme here with a lot of treats, but when you're away, the availability is increased. Usually the frequency of treats is going to increase. And so it's extra important that you focus on the things that you really enjoy and just skip out on the things that aren't your jam, right? So I love chips. I don't eat them often, but it's one of my favorite treats on vacation. And so I'm less likely to eat like candy or something else random that might be delicious for someone else because I know I'm going to enjoy probably wine and I'm going to enjoy some chips. Those would be my go-tos. Yours can be whatever you want, but if you grab a bite of something and it's not that good, stop eating it. So really just focus on making sure you are going to enjoy that treat so you can check off that craving, and that will actually last you through the following week, ideally, because you'll have had a little bit of flex and a little bit of indulgence. And so your brain can just chill out and relax and cool the cravings. Number three is to keep up your basics at 2 out of 3 meals per day. So what I mean by this is looking at what normally works for you. So for me, protein and veggies at every meal, minimizing kind of grazing and lots of water is what keeps me feeling good if I really kind of drill down. So know what those 2 or 3 basics are for you and get her done, right? Order the salad with the burger or bring some baked salads or a veggie tray if you're camping. Make it really simple, but try and check them off. And the reason this one is so important is that one, mentally, you'll feel a little bit more on track. So you're much more likely not to hit the screw it button partway through that trip or when you get back. And two, you're going to feel good physically on Monday morning, which means you're going to get back to exercise and planning and eating mindfully. It's going to be much easier to go with the flow as opposed to those like few days we lose to being kind of gross and lethargic and sluggish if we've overdone it or we haven't done what works for our body. So 2 out of 3 meals, try to just nail those basics. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be super healthy. They don't have to be handmade, but just make them happen and make sure you've got the planning done to get them done. The other one is not nutrition related, but I think it's really important. And one of the things I do is try and weave in activity while I'm away so that I'm kind of making up for the treats. And I want to be clear here, you never have to earn your food. You deserve treats and you deserve to eat no matter what activity you do. But I find I feel physically better if I'm moving my body when there's a lot of extra stuff on board, whether it's wine or chips or, pasta or whatever that might be. And it does burn a little bit of extra calories so that the excess that often comes with especially a longer trip isn't so much to then try and figure out when we get back. For a lot of clients, if you've been seeing some really nice progress in how you feel or how clothes fit over the last couple of months, to see a real big swing backwards in that can really be demotivating and defeating. And so finding a way to balance those weeks to indulge, but to also offset with some really nice gentle activity can be a really good strategy. So you kind of use that week to maintain, maybe you don't make forward progress on energy or weight or your gut, but you're not also taking, 10 steps back either. And it also, our province is beautiful. So generally being able to find some space to make activity should be able to happen. And the very last one that I really like is to, especially if you're camping or at a cabin where there tends to be snacks out all the time. I don't know about you, but that's usually how my people roll, is to put your chips, your candy, your whatever is out on a paper plate, a napkin, or one of my favorites is actually like a plastic solo cup because then it doesn't spill. So put your snacks in something. So if you're going to enjoy some treats and some snacky snacks, make sure that you're kind of doing it more mindfully. It's really tough when there's just bags out to keep track of how much you've been eating. And if you're social or drinking, you're going to have a harder time tuning into your normal cues, your fullness, like you might at home. So having kind of a portioned out amount just makes you pause and think before you go back for more so that it doesn't get out of hand, right? You can still enjoy without it being this real long grazing session and you coming home feeling just crummy on Monday. And the very last thing I want to remind you, this is less of a tip than just a like mindset piece, is remember that progress is more important than perfection. So if you've had a bunch of good weeks and you have a not so great week camping, it's okay. The worst thing you can do is get frustrated and spiral and hit the screw it button for another week because you feel like you've lost it. Just get back on, right? Do the things that work for you, make a plan for Monday. Progress will always be there, right? Whether you've maintained that week or you feel like you've slid backwards, they're both okay. The thing is just to keep moving forward, even if it's not always at the same pace. I hope you have found these tips helpful. If you have any other helpful tips that you use when you're traveling to keep it healthy-ish, let me know. I would love to hear them and add them to our list. And if there's anything specific you struggle with when it comes to traveling or weekends away as far as food, again, let me know. I would love to be able to share some more specific to you things on our next email. Have a fantastic, happy, and healthy week, and I hope you're enjoying the weather.